Welcome to Morning Message for September the 10th. In the morning message for last Tuesday, 2 days ago, I spoke about birds and a lot of the creatures that we see in our yard. What I didn't mention, the creature that I forgot to list, was the squirrel, because we also have squirrels here. In fact, it's the northern reticulated squirrel. Truth is, I have no idea what particular kind of squirrel it is. I heard that on The Simpsons once, so I'm assuming these are northern reticulated squirrels that we have in our yard. But I wanted to mention something about squirrels as well as this tree that's behind me. It's a nut tree. Some people that come by the house call it a butternut tree. Others call it a walnut tree. It's a little bit too close to the house, and it's getting quite large, so we have someone coming in the next few weeks or months who's either going to trim it back significantly or perhaps even remove it, and that will be most unfortunate if we do have to remove it. We love this tree. It offers a lot of shade to the windows on this side of the house, as well as in the morning, and actually well into the afternoon here on our deck. It's a beautiful tree. We love it, and so do the squirrels. And that was my point, is a few summers ago we had an odd kind of battle going on in the backyard between two squirrels. One squirrel would sit in the tree, the other squirrel would sit on the roof of the house, and they would scream at one another. For hours on end, they would scream at one another. The odd thing about that, I think, is that this is a big tree. It produces a lot of nuts, certainly enough for two squirrels. And if those two squirrels happen to be the head of two households, nest holds, whatever it is that squirrels live in, if they happen to be collecting for other squirrels, there's certainly enough here to keep two families of squirrels, if not more, happy throughout the winter months. Nevertheless, for most of the summer that year, these two squirrels screamed at one another, fighting over supremacy over this particular butternut or walnut tree or whatever kind of tree it happens to be. And for me, that was kind of a metaphor for how human beings tend to act, because we've all, I shouldn't say we all, many of us have bought into the lie that there's scarcity. The reality is that God has created a world that can meet the needs of every living creature that's on this planet. And yet we fight over it. And yet we believe that there's scarcity and we have to hoard things. And that's the myth, that's the lie that we need to fight against and convince ourselves otherwise. There's no need for some of us to be sitting on a wonderful resource and others sitting outside of that resource screaming at one another over who should have that particular resource. God has created a world that can sustain us. The problem when it comes to these kinds of resources is in distribution. It's in our lack of generosity. It's in our belief that there's scarcity and not tremendous abundance. Now, there's certainly parts of the world that are that lack that abundance. They might not have enough water or something like that in order to have an ecosystem that's producing for that particular group of people. But when you look at the world overall, we certainly are capable of creating enough of everything for everyone. So my hope and prayer for all of us today is that we will actually engage in some prayer to increase generosity amongst this human family. So my hope and prayer for all of us today is that we truly have thankful and generous hearts. God bless. Amen.